I want to go back to to that dinner as well. But you were telling me, like I was like about your playing, and I was wondering where you got your playing style from and what, like what area you came from, and didn't realize that we were both from Baltimore.
Right.
Like I'm like, what? You're from what? You're from Baltimore as well? What?
Like,
What's going
yeah,
on here?
I know. Baltimore is like the smallest place, but like you really get into it, and there's always somebody
Yeah.
in the scene from there, or it's weird. There's always weird connections to that town. It's great.
Man, but the other thing that you blew my mind on, that you were also the drummer for Snot.
Yes.
How did that? I was like, okay, oh my, what is going on here?
All right,
Uh,
so you're asking influence, and I'll
yes.
take it from the beginning. So growing up
Okay.
in Baltimore,
Okay.
I'm sure you did too. We all knew who Shannon Larkin was. We all saw
Yes.
Routh America. Shannon
Yep.
Larkin was the dude.
Yep.
So I'd go to Hammerjacks and sneak in and see Rothschild play, and I'd always sit up in there was like an overlook over the
Yes.
stage. You could watch the drummer. So I would just sit up there and just stare at Shannon playing all the time.
Okay. Were you on the left hand side or the right hand side?
Usually in the center, like right above where there was that
Oh,
little peak hole. You could look
yes.
right down over the drummer if they hadn't hung a backdrop. And
Right.
Rothschild never hung a backdrop until their 3D tour. Then they got that big 3D cover backdrop, so you couldn't watch behind Shannon. But I would sit behind Shannon and watch him play.
Right.
So I had a band growing up called Mary Suicide, Mary, not Merry Christmas, but Mary Suicide.
Okay. All right.
And we were kind of, high school kids, but started doing pretty good around Baltimore. And then we were working in the studio with this guy, Drew Mazurek, and he was,
Oh,
Drew. There
I
you
know
go.
Drew. Yeah.
I've known Drew forever. Good Lord.
Wow.
So we were
Okay.
we were doing demos with Drew, and Drew was like, "Hey, Brad from Wrathchild, the singer, wants to get into production, and he wants to know if it'd be cool if he came down and like just sat in and co-produced with me while I'm doing your guys' demo." We're like, "Sure, we love Wrathchild." I mean, we weren't that kind of. We were more of like a grungy Jane's Addiction kind of band, but we're like, "Oh, we love Wrathchild. That'd be cool."
Mhm.
So Brad comes in, starts producing our demos, and that turns into, "You guys should play some shows with us." Well, that never materialized, but Shannon had a side project called MF Pitbulls that he was the singer in, and his drum tech was the drummer. So we threw MF Pitbulls on a Mary Suicide gig, and Shannon and his band watched us play, and apparently they went, "We need to get that guy to be our drummer." And meanwhile, I'm like a kid that's just like, Shannon's like the dude.
Right.
I'm like, holy,
Yeah.
we'll have Shannon's band play with us. That's cool. So like that night after the show, Shannon's like, "Be the drummer in my side project." I'm like, okay. I'm like 15, 16 years old or whatever. Of course I'll play in your side project.
Right. Okay.
So about a year into doing that, Shannon gets the Ugly Kid Joe offer. Shannon goes,
Mm.
"I'm going to take Ugly Kid Joe and I'm going to have you take over Wrathchild / Souls at Zero for me if the guys will
What?
have you." I'm like, okay. So I went and jammed with the guys, took over for Shannon and Souls at Zero. Shannon goes to Santa Barbara, joins Ugly Kid Joe, meets Mikey Doling from Snot. And Mikey Doling's like, "I need to put a band together for this band idea I have." And Shannon's like, "I know the perfect guys. It's all the guys from MF Pitbulls." And
Oh.
so myself, Toomer, the bass player John, and Sonny Mayo were all in MF Pitbulls, all at different periods and over the course of like a year or two, went out to Santa Barbara, joined Snot, put Snot together. That's how that became a band.
What? Wow.
Weird.
Man. So what made you move from Baltimore though?
Honestly, back to MF Pitbulls, I was in Souls at Zero.
All right.
Shannon got a small record deal for us to make an MF Pitbulls record, but he was living in Santa Barbara. So he's like, "I want to make this record, but we got to do it in Santa Barbara because it's got a nice little studio. I'm getting a good deal." I'm like, "Cool." So we got
Mm.
off tour, flew out to Santa Barbara, made the record with Shannon, and then two of the guys in MF Pitbulls were now at this point in Snot with a different drummer, and they were playing the Whiskey a Go Go one night. So
Mm.
you should come check out our band. Like I would love to. Meanwhile, sidebar to that story, for about a year prior to that, I was getting phone calls from Lynn and Mikey and John probably once a week. "Come join our band. Leave your shitty Baltimore band and come join our band." But meanwhile, Soul Zero is like a signed touring band.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to leave my thing that's touring, for this unknown band in Santa Barbara.
Right.
They sent me demos. They were great, but was like, I don't get it. Whatever. They got a dumb name. I don't get it. So I go to Santa Barbara, do this record, go down to the whiskey with them, watch their show. And I watched their show, even with their old drummer. Their old drummer, by the way, was really good.
All right.
There's just certain people that don't have the vibe that just don't quite fit. I just
Yeah.
think personality wise, he didn't fit. Great drummer, creative drummer. They called
Mm.
him Fed. It's like a big muscular prison
No.
graduate. His nickname was Corn Fed, so they called him Fed.
Wow.
But
Okay.
I think that kind of lent itself to the personality clash. Like he was kind of like a, big
Uh,
kind of tough guy.
that
Great drummer,
sucks.
killer creative drummer, but
Right.
watched play and got it. I was
Mm.
I understand what this band's doing. Like that's really like from hearing their demos to seeing them play, I understood. So I jumped back in the car after the show. Me and Sonny are driving from LA back up to Santa Barbara, and I just went, I think I'll do it. And he didn't even ask, like he knew exactly what I was saying. He's just like, awesome. So I went home, packed up my car with my girlfriend at the time, and we drove out to Santa Barbara.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Damn.
just
Okay.
screw it, I'm gonna do it. And the Snot didn't have a record deal at the time, didn't
Right.
have a tour, but I understood what they were doing. So I was like, screw it, let's just roll the dice and go for it. So we did it.
Wow. So how did Snot just keep on like building that record, that title record?
When I joined, they had probably 75% of the record written.
Okay.
They were demoing around town. They were playing shows with everybody. They were already kind of like making a lot of noise in LA. By the time I got out here, I think there was already two record deals offered. Um, but they were just kind of waiting for the right, I think they were waiting to see if I would come join and the right management and that whole thing.
Mm.
But yeah, they were already making some noise before I even got there. Like they were well on their way. And they would have been doing stuff had I joined or not. They would have been signed and out there
Right.
dealing with their old drummer. I mean, they may have broken up faster, but they still would have, done something even with their old drummer. Like I said, he was a great drummer, killer drummer.
Right.
Just,
Wow.
for whatever reason it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Right. Oh wow, man. And so how long were you in that band before? So what happened after Snot?
After Snot, we finished Ozfest in '98. We came home from tour. We were gonna take a break. And I sort of like was kind of burnt. And I had started a side project with my wife Amy.
Okay.
And we had this idea like, all right, let's do this side project thing. And I kind of proposed that to the band. Well, not to the band, to some people adjacent to the band at first, and they weren't having that. So kind of a little falling out to where I kind of quit the band.
Hmm.
Um, but I kind of intended like, maybe I'll go back. Well, this is just like I need a break from these yahoos, and everybody's being weird, clash personalities, blah blah blah.
Right.
But then our singer passed away about
Oh,
4 weeks later after that went down. He got into a car crash up in Santa Barbara and
oh,
passed away.
that's right.
Yeah, so I was in the band for about 2.5 years. Think
Right.
about yeah, I think mid '96 to the end of '98.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow, man. That's
yeah.
man.
It was
What
fast. Everything was really fast.
right.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Man, would you so in that break time you were with your wife
Yeah, we
in
had a band called The Start.
to start.
Yeah,
So I heard that you play guitar.
I did. I played guitar in that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you played guitar.
I mean, not to sound like that, but there's not a lot of things I can't play. I'm one of
R-
those guys. Come from
Damn.
a family that learned that family are all musicians. There's
Okay.
instruments everywhere. It's like, here, play this. Okay. And you figure it out. So,
Wow. You know
yeah.
you know what also impressed me about your playing is like your ability to sing as well.
Yeah, that was just
You
part of
know,
the
like
gig.
do you do that with your wife's band too, or
Yeah, I sung the backgrounds and stuff like that. Same as I do in BR.
all right, okay. Man, I didn't man, that blew my mind, like your playing style, like I mean, but who else did you get into, playing wise, like what made you start playing drums in the first place?
Oh, man. Well, coming from a family of musicians, and this is the truth, I don't remember not playing drums. Like, I have no memory of not being behind a drum set at some point. My dad says I started when I was 3.
All right, okay.
Like he had a band, and apparently I got up on the kit during a break and started playing. They were apparently him and my uncle were trying to figure out a tune, And all of a sudden the drums came in and they turned around. It was 3-year-old son on the drums. They're like, whoa. Apparently we just played the song. But I honestly have no memory of not having drums in my life. Like I never learned, I never had proper education other than being in the middle school band in middle school, playing the snare drum.
Right. Okay. Man,
But
so you just did it through
yeah,
school and all that and
always
whatnot.
played drums. But once I realized that I love drums, like I was, I grew up in the era where it's like I love the Stuart Copelands, the Terry
Hmm.
Bozzios. I love
Yes.
Budgie from Susie and the Banshees drummer. Budgie is probably my favorite.
Right.
But then like growing up in Baltimore, once I don't know if I could go out and see bands. There was Shannon Larkin,
Mm.
guy John Allen from Child's Play, was killer drummer. Love
John
him.
is, I didn't know you knew John.
I know John.
Damn.
Baby,
Okay.
the new band Stone Horses rips.
Oh, really? I
Oh my
haven't checked
God,
him
so
out.
good. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, he's got a new
Man.
band. They're great. Check it out.
Okay, okay, I will. I will. Man, I didn't know you knew John.
Yeah, I know John.
John was one of the other first people that had a ripping voice as well.
Yeah, John's a killer. I mean, he's a
Um,
front man now in his band. He's the front man. He's a great singer.
damn.
Yeah, but he was a
Man,
killer drummer back then. Like, dude, I
right.
loved watching Child's Play. That's great.
Man, oh man. You just
Baltimore,
name
dude.
you're right. You just naming these Baltimore bands, man. They're like, okay, all right.
Ever see Mystic Force? Chris Lembeck, the drummer.
Yes, yeah.
Chris was killer. Chris is great, dude. Great freaking drummer. And we both know Sean Hughes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, Sean's
Man,
one of the
Sean's
best ever.
yeah, Sean's a beast, man. So
Beast drummer.
yeah.
Killer. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Will Dorsey Jr. Talk Music Podcast. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. That little red button on there, just hit it. That will help me out tremendously. If you can also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, that will also help me. And if you wanted to download our podcast on Apple or Google or Amazon or even Spotify, you can check us out on there. Hope you guys enjoy the show.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, 𝐸 Studio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their 𝐸 sessions on social media. Visit ERS on 𝐸recordstudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
Visit us on www.talkmusicpodcast.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download our podcast on Apple, Google, Amazon, and Spotify.